And I think that we need to have a deeper conversation about, what simping is and whatnot. And what it's really about is where a man puts what he puts his love into. Your love is ultimately like your effort. So what you put your effort and energy and your heart into, right? And that's why it's so important for you to have some kind of life's work, something that is really important to you. You got to have a huge professional goal, a huge spiritual goal. You know what I'm saying? And some kind of like social goal, whether it's I want to spend more time with my family, spend more time with my father or something like that. No matter what it is, right? But you need to have goals in those departments to make sure that for one, you're putting effort and energy into the right departments, right? And maybe a hobby, something like that. Something that so that you can distribute that. Because what men will do, some men again, this guy has so much love. Not only is he a high level professional, a one of a kind man, right? It's not as if like Russell Wilson doesn't know that he's a 1% man, and he's probably going to be in that 1% for the rest of his life. Okay, this is someone who's a famous football player, and despite all that, and him knowing that in his mind and his heart, he doesn't look at someone like Ciara and say, "Nah," right? And the way he talks about Ciara is this is a great example how men make an effort where because I look at we're built to like you. All right, which speaks to how trash you must be if a man if a man want to deal with you no more, and when you lose a man, because that's another reason why women will clown you about that. You can't keep a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, for the most part, the way I talk about relationships would be like if men made it cool to not care about losing your job. And like for the most part, we're kind of getting there. Like um this whole fantasy that a lot of y'all have about what success looks like and how success happens. Of course, I think that you should aim for the sky. If you want to sincerely become a millionaire, you need to think about, all right, what kind of millionaire do I want to be and how can I become a millionaire? There are several other ways besides the kind of business you're thinking of where you can make that kind of money. But you're mostly gonna make that kind of money with investments or it's like something that you bought, right? Most is probably it's probably going to be property. Okay, it's probably going to be property. That's probably going to be your way. But a lot of shit can't happen if we're not able to, you know, understand things take time. Even with what I'm doing right here, as we come into 2025, I'll be thinking about how I can't tell you when I started this journey, but I can tell you when I got really serious. And that's when I was first going through my breakup and whatnot. And I remember she actually had I used to record on her camera because she used to do content, but she just I mean one time I asked her about it. I said, like, why do you have this nice camera? He's like, oh, I used to do content. I said, oh, what happened? He just I just don't want to do it no more. She just like there was such a short conversation. She just didn't like she never expanded on it. I don't know why I didn't press it more, but I said, oh, I just want to do content. But this is when we first met. But anyway, when she had her homegirl hit me up to ask me when she can come by and get her things. I'm like, nigga, we didn't even have a breakup conversation like that. God damn. And when she mentioned the camera, I was like, yo, I ain't gonna front. I was like, damn. But I was like, yo, I had to have faith that I must not need it. Now I don't. Actually, my videos look better than it did back when I used to use that camera. You know what I mean? But I'm speaking to the journey and how long things take. I know we kind of off subject, but in so many words, what I'm saying is we have to reimagine and rethink what success actually looks like and understand that it's not an Instagram picture. It's not going to be a photo op. It's not going to be some shit that looks cool on camera. It's going to be something that actually takes time. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you want to have to also be willing to take losses, yo. But anywho, the reason why men also not so much speak against Russell Wilson is because Ciara was able to do. She first of all, she like defied the rules of single mothers, which is normally women normally are not able to get a better man after if they left a man. Let's say they left that man, they usually don't get a better man after that. For the most part, it's usually kind of downhill for people and for women in general when they get older. A lot of times, that's listen. The baby mother in their 30s to lesbian pipeline and the baby mother in their 30s to cougar pipeline is strong. Okay, like that is so common to see someone who has a couple of kids in a relationship with a woman. When you had a couple of kids, I mean, like, fam, you like men to the point where you had babies by men. So this is confirmed that you definitely, you know what I mean, and we need to call that shit out for the L that it is. All right, because really, what's going on? Them people have you don't even if you find you don't have that many options for a relationship that you also want to be in. It's not like a good job. Realistically, even if you have all the qualifications, you're not going to get that many opportunities for an amazing job. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, let me let him talk. I'm going to let him talk in full.
To everything that she's doing, you know, like to her friends, to her job, occupation, a woman who's faithful. Number 3 is I wanted a woman who was independent, had her own identity. Wasn't always Russell's wife or this or that. Like they had their own identity, they had their own dreams. It could be a nurse, it could be to a teacher, it could be to anybody, but obviously see on stage doing a 1-2 step and leveling up and everything else. But it didn't have to be that, but it was just somebody who had their own identity, who wanted to be volunteer work, or whatever it is. Like they wanted to have something they're dedicated to. Number 4 was I wanted a woman that was going to love me the way my mom loved my dad on his deathbed when he was at his lowest. My dad used to always say, son, your mom is going to be able to take care of you. And the 5th thing is
how you knew she was the one, bro?
Is I wanted a woman who would tilt the room. And I think there's a few things. Number one is I wanted a woman of faith.
Real quick, let's kind of touch on this concept of the one, right? And not necessarily a negative thing. I don't think it's bad, right? But I think it can be, again, men don't come into relationships or come into the dating world in general understanding or really, I think now maybe things are changing, right? But men, for the most part, think the best they can of even how he's talking about her. Well, I'm sorry, he hasn't gotten to it yet and whatnot, but every time he's ever been on camera, he's always made her look good. Every time. But going back to the concept of the one, women can be fickle and women change their mind to the point where we got to realize, I understand. Shout out to Crimson. Women copy each other. Women are fickle enough that when they see one woman say something or whatever it is, they will follow each other. You don't believe me? Go watch Pop the Balloon. A majority of the time, them girls pop their balloon because another girl popped their balloon. And they just think, all right, well, something must be wrong with him. So I don't know what's wrong with him, but I'm going to pop my balloon. Go figures, right? But being as though women will change their mind about you, you know what I mean, and decide, yo, I don't want to be here no more, right? If a man maintains this idea that she's the one, he starts feeling like she's the only one, then his mind stops working. And don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying that, you know, it's super easy to replace someone you really care about and whatnot. But the thing is, especially now, yo, you can't control your woman. Like you want to, like now more than ever, men, if they want to have a successful relationship in your own regard, you're gonna have to be the prize. And I don't care. Let me tell you something. Looking good and being confident, all while having your own shit, that's pretty much all you gotta do. Meaning, like, yo, you got your own whip, right? Got your own spot that you call your own. You feel me? You got your gear. You feel me? You got what you need, right? If you're already there, that means you can maintain yourself, and that means that you're not relying on her you're just not really relying on her. You know what I mean? And that helps you to come into the situation. It just helps with the dynamic overall. You know what I'm saying? because you're coming from a position of strength, a position of power. I don't know, I'm off on a little tangent, but anywho, I was saying before about basically Ciara did a swap out where she swapped him out. She swapped Future. Now Future left anyway. Future wasn't in the picture anyway, but she was able to successfully replace a Future who was the kind of man that it's just not going to be in no long-term relationship. I'm not sure why they broke up and whatnot, but he's just, and that probably was the best thing for his music though. But he's just not that kind of man. And but anywho, we see what kind of guy Future is, and she was able to actually get actually a better, probably maybe a better man, possibly. Now I can't really say because we don't know very much about Future, so I can't really speak to what Future be doing. I don't know if we do everything. I don't know. But anywho, that doesn't happen very often. You know what I'm saying? And we look at these comment sections. One of the reasons why, and for the most part, who loves Russell Wilson and Ciara? Single mothers, because that is a fantasy. And again, men do not like this. Men don't care for this shit because we see it for what it is. We see this one-sided thing where it seems like one person is in love and really fulfilled. The other person is getting their needs met. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was around Ciara, I would be like, you don't
even do nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
What the?
You know what I mean? Like,
you was washing tables. You was waiting.
Yeah, she was damn there washing tables. But anywho, let me let Russell keep cooking.
Right, somebody who was equally yoked and somebody who believed in Jesus and everything else the same way. Number two is I want a woman who's faithful, not just to me, but also faithful to everything that she's doing. Like to her friends. She walks in the room, all the furniture would slide her way, and because of who she is and the woman she is. And so I prayed about that. I remember, Judah, me and Judah, we went to church and I prayed about that. Wrote it out. I wrote actually out on a napkin at dinner as we were sitting there eating a steak dinner. I wrote it out on a napkin and we prayed over it. 3 days later, I meet C. And when I walked in the room and I saw, little Future, he's
yo, fam, it's no way that I'll be calling that little boy Little Future. It's just nah, man. Like,
they don't know what's going on.
They never had my back.
He told me how much he wants to protect you.
They never had my back.
Nah, man, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Like,
new sash. It was in the apartheid country.
New sash.
Well, if I snap my fingers, you forget that you ever gay.
I was never gay.
Exactly.
Wait, no, stop.
Yes.
No, stop. You can't.
there's no way I'm calling that little boy baby Future, Little Future. But what he's about to talk about, again, this is a prime example of the love. You have to know how nice of a person you have to be to have this reaction to another. It's not even like this little boy was like 5 years old. Yo, if he met this baby at 9 months old, that meant by the time the little boy hadn't been a year old yet, and she already wasn't with the child's father. That's never a good sign. It was in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Russell, man. Like this is a loving dude right here. I wish he was my dad.
9 months at the time or whatever, and he crawls in my lap, and it was.
And listen, my dad loved me. Okay, real talk. My dad really loved me, but I do feel as though I could be loved by Russell Wilson. Way better, yo. I hope I can meet him one day. I'm hoping that. Listen, I'm gonna try to see him. Listen, I'm down to do whatever I can to get him to see me in the same light. You understand? Like, yo, it was crazy.
It was like, this is going to be my responsibility. God, I remember leaving that night and God saying, God saying to me, raising this child is going to be your responsibility. And realizing that, pray to God, are you sure this is what you want me to do? Say, son, this is for you.
The first night?
Yeah, the first night. is I wanted a woman who would tilt the room when she.
So even when he says that, right? Don't get me wrong. I think every man wants that to a certain degree, but especially a lot of men will never get to a point in life where they desire that kind of women or know to look for that kind of women, right? So I think in his case, and I didn't know much about Russell Wilson before. This is how I know him and everything, right? But I remember Kevin Samuels talking about him getting with Ciara for his black card because he didn't really have, he wasn't recognized or beloved in the black community. You know what I'm saying? People didn't talk about him that way. And he felt as though, or it seemed like he felt as though being with Ciara would give him kind of like that, not really an edge, but you know what I'm saying, but kind of give him more of like a, how can I say, make him more of more desirable to the black community, or more of a viable celebrity. All right. And you know, and kind of did. But also, what I think also went on is that I talked before about wanting a woman for the wrong things. I don't think he's wrong for saying he wanted her to be her own person. But you have to also understand what a good wife actually looks like and what she's actually going to be like. Yeah, she can be her own person. But in order for y'all to be on the same page, she has to feel as though, all right, you know, she has to be 100% with you. And being your wife has to, if that doesn't become her identity, you can't really be in a relationship with a woman who doesn't like define herself in a way by being your woman in terms of y'all connection. Because for the most part, when you're in a relationship, and for the most part, in the man's mind, he's thinking, I have this woman to look out for. And if she got kids, a woman and her kids. Black men love black women to the point where we love everything about a woman to the point where she can come with a +1 and a +2. And we'll say, yo, you know what? I mean, one time I heard Angry Man make this point. He was talking about how deeply men could love and how the best songs ever written are by men. The best love songs ever written were written by men. The greatest poetry about love was written by men. All right. You know, like a man's love is even greater. You know what I'm saying? Like men aren't even able to even know if that child is theirs, and we wasn't able to guarantee paternity until like recently, like fairly recent. It's like a new thing, right? And even still, in these later times, it's always been mixed families, right? But it was even to the point where this used to be more of an argument. On the Kevin Samuels show, it was very normal for a woman to get up there and say she has a couple of kids and she's waiting for basically I hate to keep saying high value man, but basically a man that she's not going to meet. That's the same as somebody waiting at home and they're not working because they're waiting for a job. Can you imagine if you knew someone like that? If you knew someone who was waiting for a job that's not going to call, imagine having an uncle and whatnot. Every time you go see Uncle Leroy, hi Uncle Leroy, how you doing? I bought you some uh uh chicken skins that you like from the store. That's an actual snack, y'all. Don't chill. Chicken skins are real. Fried chicken skins. Go to the bodega. Ask them for the fried chicken skins. They got them. Don't worry. Some 6-pack sent you. They'll know what that means. But going back to this right here, this is the boundless love of the black man. Not to mention that's one of Future's kids. I can't imagine that being the nicest kid. I don't know. I hope everything's working out for them. But when he talks about Ciara, he always bigs her up. I don't know if it's on purpose, but whenever Ciara talks about Russell, she talks about him more so as like she talks about him like he was a job she was able to get. That was basically a resource that she was able to acquire. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's not really it's not the same thing. She doesn't really add much character to it.
We met in person was a really unique situation. I know I talk about it. I'm not sure if it may sound weird to some, but because, when you're public figures, oftentimes if you try to go outside like normal people, they'll put a label on you, like you're automatically dating when you're just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So we met in my house, actually, and at that time it was me and my dad and my son, future, and we were talking about where we were going to go eat out.
People actually talked about how she stopped and giggled when she said future. Now, people can take that any way they want, but if a man had a daughter, right? I don't know. Let's say Jay-Z and Beyonce wasn't together, and Blue's name was Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? And so, and he's talking. Jay's talking about the first time. I don't know. He's talking about him and his new wife, right? And they're talking about so Beyonce is like 9 months, 9 months old, and he just laughs and smiles like, fam, that would be such an issue with his new girl. What is you smiling about? Right, and this is what I mean about the carelessness, and I'm going to get to. Hopefully, I remember. I'm going to get to why she's so careless with how she presents. And again, I don't think it's necessarily on purpose, really, but it's just more about carelessness. But I'll get into why she's so careless.
And we were like, you know what? It's better to just like meet inside. And, I was like, well, my dad and my son are here, and then he was like, it's all right. I got to meet him anyway. Like he was very like direct, because I'm like, we're meeting like as friends, just building. But the first day that we met, when he walked away, I knew. I knew, like, it was I'd never had that feeling in my life. And it's funny, when he recalls his time, the first time that we met in person was a really unique situation. I know I talk about it. I'm not sure if it may sound weird, just he had the same feeling. So he had a friend with him, and he said to him, he's like, I think she's the one. And I call my best friend Yolanda, who's here, my makeup artist, somewhere around here. Been in my life since I was 16 years old, and she's my matron of honor. But I said, Yoli, I was like, I don't want to jinx anything, but I think he's, and she goes, the one? And I go, yes, like a long yes. So we always say, when you know, you know.
When you know, you know. And I love how he fully just embraced and took him in, like your son, as his own. I love blended families. I hate.
Why do you love blended families? What? Don't get me wrong. Listen, it happens. Like, a blended family happens, but it's not an ideal situation, because those kids really do need to be with their father. Like, more and more, I'm realizing my son needs to be with me like 7 days a week. That's the only way I know he's safe. That's the only way to make sure your kids are safe, is if your kids live with you. All right. No matter what, when the kids are not with their father, they are a target in some kind of way, or again, it's just nothing good comes from it. And also, it messes with their whole development, because you got to realize that when the father's not there to do emotional regulation, meaning that basically they're there to bring accountability to the space, because the more accountability that exists, right, between people, the more that when it comes to conflict resolution, it can actually happen, because you're more able to get out of the moment, or out of the feeling of, because a lot of problems come from anxious feelings, or someone's poor stress management, which can result in your anxiety, you having a negative outlook on things, you know what I'm saying, you have inappropriate reactions to things, you know what I mean, like shit like that, which all kind of come from being too emotional. But going back to what she said about blended families, now I'm on the second clip now, right? And Ciara's telling the story. When Russell tells his story, he mentions loving all of her. She doesn't mention what was it about him that she liked. Because wait.
When people try to say, like, a man won't come and like treat all your kids equal. Like, he's just such a good dad. We love a green flag.
A green flag.
A green flag.
With the green flag?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the beauty of like family. That's the beauty of love, you know. And also too, our family keeps on growing. You know, and so it's
Girl,
beautiful.
you stay pregnant. Lord,
he had the same feeling. So he had a
And one more thing too. So, and again, I don't think Summer's really aware of how this shit comes off. But what Summer is saying that I think you have a beautiful relationship because he really fuck with you. He really like you. He really thinks you're super attractive. And in her mind, that's a good relationship because he's really into her and she seems to be getting her needs met, and also she seems to be having her way. You know what I'm saying? This is the same way, like it's the same as like if you were kids, right? Always bring it back to the kid, then help you understand how women look at other women. It wouldn't matter if a kid had a family where like they're all hitmen and they actually like off people for a living. If that kid got a bunch of games and toys, you're gonna look at that kid as having a great childhood. If he got all the snacks and shit in his house, you're gonna look at him and has a great childhood. You know what I'm saying? He could be, when you leave, he could be forced to do all types of stuff. Anything could be happening to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're not, you know, his parents could be super abusive. Anything could be going on. You know what I'm saying? But you wouldn't look at that as a kid because you don't think that far, and you tune the rest of that stuff out. You're not looking at no one's character when you're 9 years old. You're saying, oh my God, he has the new this or the new that. You know what I'm saying? Or he has this game or that game, and that's the most important thing. So it's also harkens back to why Black love is dead. Shout out to Angry Man. While Black love is dead, because and we realize with the Rem and Pap situation, and what it really means is, you know, because they always say that, oh, this was an issue because they was the face of Black love. You know what I mean? Now, I think everyone has their own idea what they think Black love is, which is love between a Black man and a Black woman. That's what it means to Black men. To Black women, kind of find out, Black love means the Black woman is being worshipped and she's getting her needs met and she's having her way. That's why women love to see a woman have kids with someone maybe she shouldn't have had kids with, and then be able to do a successful swap out. You know what I'm saying? It's the same as, you know, when you see a nigga doing when you see a nigga pimping, you know what I mean? So when you see a dude walking in with two beautiful women and they with him, it's like, oh damn, shit, you know. But that don't happen every day. It almost never happens. It only happens if a nigga pimping. And y'all ever seen a pimp in real life? Yeah, shit crazy. You know, like a time or two. It's just like you just know based off of how they interact and how random. If the two girls like look like this, like random. I mean, especially if they're like white. If like one of them is white, one of them usually be white or Spanish. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you can know. All right, this is what's going on here. You got a situation going on here. But anywho. And again, I don't think that it's not a malicious conversation. It's just pretty much like this is how women see relationships and how and what they, even what she sees in her relationship. Now, mind you, women also do not. She doesn't score. She doesn't really think about am I a good wife or do I make him happy? Really, you know what I'm saying? That's not really and that's not really something that. If you're not making your husband happy, no one's gonna say anything. You know what I'm saying? His family probably not gonna say anything to you or to him, especially the women. You know what I mean? Like when I was younger, listen, my mother and grandmother and I had plenty of times to explain to me that woman, that girl is terrible. She's not a good. She's not a good woman at all. You know what I mean? And you need to get out this relationship. Everyone saw that and did nothing. If it was my sister and she was with some kind of guy like that, I'd probably stop talking to her. I'll probably, because I'm like, yo, I probably would disown her. Cause ain't nothing I could do about that. I wasn't like, I couldn't be around my sister and she got some dude she deal with, and all he do is he just ain't hitting on shit, and he mean and got a terrible attitude, all this shit. Man, listen, could be me. So All right, man. We on what slide we on? All right, it's the third slide. No, second
A
slide.
friend with him, and he said to him, he's like,
You can't keep that man off you.
Oh,
How many
my
kids you got?
Lord.
You got more kids
we
than
got
me.
4.
4.
I got cuatro. He be talking about some cinco. I'm like, he puts his hand up like this, and I'm like, high five. I love you, you know. But honestly, I've always said I would have 5 kids.
Really?
It's
I want
crazy.
5. That's crazy.
Yeah, you almost there too.
Yeah, almost.
You right there, and you got twins.
Yeah.
That's something else. Because
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
telling you, like all of our kids, their age gap is 3 years old. 3 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So my youngest baby, Amore, is about to be 1. Win is 4. Sienna is 7, and Future is 10.
Mm.
So I got a little
She wasn't that little boy Future. I had no idea his name was really Future.
space and time.
Yeah, you do.
When you had them twins, you ain't got no space
You don't
and
have
time.
no space. What would you do if you messed around and you thought was your last? She's like, don't even.
Oh my gosh, how big my eyes got.
If your last baby was twins,
Oh
what would you do?
I'd honestly be happy.
You would?
Yeah, because
I
then
love
I know
that.
we putting a period on.
You can't keep that man off you.
Oh
How many
my
kids you got? You got
on it. We
like.
All right, it's last slide. Let's see what she do, man. I got faith. Let's see what she do. I'm waiting for her to say one nice thing. One nice thing about this man. Goodness gracious.
It's a wrap. We done. We done on it. It's a wrap. We done. We done on it. It's a wrap. We done. We done.
All right. Well, we are done. I get. All right. Well, you know what, Ciara?
Because I always respected your hairline on television.
That's what niggas are talking about. Now, again, that wasn't no super long conversation. There wasn't that many clips and whatnot. But you're going through the story of how you met someone. You're supposed to take someone there and make them think that, I really connected with this person. I was so attracted to this person, or this name something. You're supposed to at least, whenever you talk about someone that you're with physically, you name a physical attribute about them that you liked. You know what I'm saying? Something about them that looked good to you. So you're saying that. And again, and maybe she did, but this is your opportunity to make him look good, and that's really the issue. And also, Russell doesn't really understand what makes him look good. You know what I mean? That's why he be having issues. I mean, he I ain't even see him dress bad too much, but I know I know he ain't got all the swag in the world. You know what I mean? So I think another thing too is he's a fan of hers. He had to have been a fan of hers when he was younger. All right. And another thing too is that a nigga like Russell Wilson, like guys, and again, I'm a little more of like that kind of like black guy archetype. Black guys like us have this insecurity about thinking that we're in competition with the hood nigga, or the dude that really ain't got shit going on, like the dude that's in jail that got women outside waiting for him. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy. And for the most part, that is what it's like being a black guy. No matter what, it always goes back to somehow, some way, you're in competition with this dude who's not really on your level. You know what I'm saying? Not so much because y'all don't have the same accolades, but just in terms of character, just in terms of accountability, in terms of just overall manhood, y'all not on the same level. But at the same time, you're still being compared to this dude. You're still somehow in competition with this dude. Whereas I would imagine a successful white guy is not really as much in competition with the dude who deals meth, or feels as though he's in competition with that archetype of white guy. Of course, the bad boy thing goes on, I think, in all groups, but in our community, you know what I mean? Like someone like Russell Wilson would never be seen as like sexy to a woman. You know what I'm saying, like her, because again, I'm sorry, it's hard to believe that the same girl that was attracted to Future, the one to have a kid with Future, also wants to have a kid with Russell Wilson. And another thing too, again, throughout all those clips, and that wasn't that didn't even stand out to someone. That damn, like she didn't say anything nice about him. She had all this time to say one nice thing about him. Did not say one nice thing about this man. And again, you're telling the story about how you guys got together. That shit is crazy. Sorry, I'm a little sick. Pardon me. All right, I'm gonna take a little break. We're gonna come back. All right, we back, y'all. Oh, great. I don't have my freaking speaker. No, I'm not back. I'm not back.
I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
I'll say it again.
I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
That was something that a man actually said during a debate with another man about relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, Yada awakening. But we can't forget about the GOAT.
Sooner or later, her cookies get crushed.
All right. Anyway, speaking of one-sided relationships, so we have these two again. Zelly and Tyrese. Matter of fact, let me pull up this old video of Zelly embarrassing Tyrese. Hold on, where is that? Watch this. Wow. Zelly and Tyrese embarrassing.
How did we meet? Slid in the DMs.
Yeah.
We linked up.
He wasn't my type at all.
Hey, look.